Hi, everyone. Welcome to Joy Journey with Jen. I'm Jen. And this month, as I practice more of my Substack presence, I'm using the second anniversary of Fierce Awakenings as a way to introduce you to my Substack and to introduce you to co-authors and to reflect on how the spiral path keeps showing up. For these last 2 years, we published this book on the solstice in September of 2023. It's a collaborative book involving 12 women, and I'm going a little bit chapter by chapter and author by author, sharing what I felt back then when I first read these words and what I still feel now as important milestones in my own spiral path journey. I was the lead author and the inspiration for the book. I was also the developmental editor. We published with Red Thread. And for each of these chapters, as I'm moving through my own reinvention now, and I'm having new fierce awakenings, amazing how that happens. I have been reflecting on several of the stories all of the stories that were previously published, and remembering how much of this journey repeats, offers new opportunities for reflection. And really, one of the chapters that has really meant a lot to me this year, particularly in 2025, is the chapter from Josette Mills. Let me just tell you hold on, I had it here. Hang on one second. Josette's bio. Yeah, Josette is a midlife fulfillment coach, and she's helping a lot of women my age in midlife and in menopause kind of step up to who they're going to be now. And she's got a lot of fantastic modalities that she uses to teach that. And her chapter is called Pulling the Plug on People Pleasing. And her story is really deeply personal, as they all are, about something that had happened to her and how she had been standing in a place, where she was the superwoman. She, like many of us, she was doing everything for everybody, people pleasing all over the place, like we all know how to do. Many of us, many women, hold this same energy of putting others' needs ahead of ourselves. Energy that is natural. I mean, we are the caretakers, and for those of you who are mothers, like, you're the first line of caretaking. This, you have to put needs ahead of your own sometimes to give life to the children that you brought into the world, right? So it's not an unnatural feeling of people pleasing. And we in the world, we talk about the impact that people pleasing is having, but there is a moment that you're going to reach where that's not going to be the top priority, and taking care of yourself is going to be the priority. So Josette's story comes to that, that moment where she fell into some medical conditions that landed her in the hospital, that landed her in a pretty bad spot in life. And she was in an emergency room. And, the question that she asked, kind of in this moment, and I'll read more of her words because they're really powerful, but this is the question that might be coming up. And you might get it in a hospital room, or you might get it somewhere else, but how can I continue to take care of everybody being out of work for 2 or 3 weeks, right? But just the first part of that, how can I continue to take care of everybody? If I can't work, if I can't get this thing done, if I can't get paid enough, if I can't, how am I going to take care of everybody else? So let me go do all those things to take care of everybody else. But the words that keep, kind of hanging in for me, like, and feel so important now as I come out of my own little bit of a cocoon and realize, like, where I sacrifice myself for other people's comfort or safety or needs. And let me just tell you Josette's words and what they mean to me now. In Josette's chapter, Pulling the Plug on People Pleasing, she writes, "What I knew to be true was that if I kept doing the same thing, getting the same results, that was psychotic. I had to stop fighting for my excuses. As the saying goes, how you do anything is how you do everything. Everywhere you go, there you are." I saw the same patterns at work. I would take on additional tasks for my coworkers so they would accept me and find real value in my friendship. I would be the first one in, the last one out, to show my dedication and commitment to the company, going above and beyond to prove my worth. I had to switch things up. I had to release the tendency for perfection. I had to embrace the idea that my greatest gifts may come wrapped in sandpaper, something one of my mentors, Lisa Nichols, once pointed out. Google became a best friend as I discovered that my symptoms and behaviors matched the condition known as people pleasing. And then she goes into a little bit of how she then threw herself into learning more about this and how she was going kind of within to her own mind and her own body and soul to explore the root of her behaviors. And the question that came to her is, how did I get here? That was the question that kept playing over and over in her mind. And then she goes on, and these are the words that continue to impact me. All of them, but these particular. In a weird kind of way, it made sense to me to continue to be everything to them, according to my definition of what they needed. So I stayed prevalent in their lives, so I could stay relevant in my own life. They were all grown up and I was still vicariously living through them. The reality was that they had their own lives to live, and so did I. And reading Josette's story back in 2023, when we were going through the writing and editing and publishing of the book, I could feel that. I could feel that people pleasing was going to be something that I also needed to look at in my own life and see where and how I was doing that. And I also kind of went into this phase of learning all the different modalities. I became a mindfulness meditation teacher, and I learned, Josette and I know each other from Bernadette Pleasant, who is the founder of the Emotional Institute, and she teaches this somatic practice of the emotional tour. And that's where we were connected through, and going through all these different ways of learning how to be me so that I could begin to release what other people were expecting from me all the time. But this sort of idea of maybe we compensate with people pleasing to stay relevant and to stay prevalent and to stay present in other people's lives so that they love us, so that they don't forget about us, so that we have some purpose that we're showing up for. And if we're not showing up for our own purpose, at least we're helping with other people's purposes. And that is coming back full cycle in a lot of ways for me, is prioritizing the life that I want to live now, the lifestyle I'm going to choose to live as I enter my crone years and the wise lady years, and say, you know what I did in my 20s is not the same anymore. And I don't need to shrink myself so that you love me. I don't need to shrink into this version of me that is no longer the highest and truest version of me, the highest frequency of me. And it's okay if I'm not always relevant to other people through that presence of pleasing people. I don't think I want to be relevant in that way anymore. And as I say that, I'm like, oh, am I unleashing that somehow? I'm pretty assertive and pretty much know how to take a stand for myself, but there are places where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I would have said yes to that if somebody else wasn't dependent on my yes there. So just different things to kind of look at as we're moving into this. And how are you? How are you showing up? You know, what's kind of pulling you into this? Is this really the pattern that you're going to continue living in? Scroll down to the rest of this Substack post and find some of the links. Find Josette's, an initial interview from 2023 and how she talks about her own chapter and some of the words that she's saying as she reads back her own story. And hear what you hear, learn what you learn, see what you see. Be willing to keep walking your spiral path, knowing that you are going to have fierce awakenings and they're going to keep coming, and fantastic. Let them come, right? Let them come. That's the word that's in the vernacular these days with Mel Robbins. Taking a lot of ownership on that and showing us that we can let them. So thank you, Josette, for your beautiful chapter, and may it inspire you as you continue on your joy journey. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next time.